10 R&B stars whose voices should have made them immortal. Artists who had everything, the talent, the hits, the moment, but somehow never became the legends they were meant to be.
What are we doing wrong?
You've heard their music, you felt what they could do, but you don't know what stopped them, the labels, the timing, the demons, the decisions that changed everything. These are the stories the industry doesn't want you to remember. Number 10, Tevin Campbell. Tevin Campbell was supposed to be the next Michael Jackson. That's not hyperbole. That's what Quincy Jones and Prince both believed when they heard this kid from Texas sing. He was 12 years old when he recorded Tomorrow for Quincy's album. 12. And his voice already had that rare combination, technical perfection and emotional depth that most singers spend decades trying to find. By 1993, Can We Talk made him a household name. The song hit number 9 on the Hot 100. His album, I'm Ready, went double platinum. He was everywhere. BET, MTV, every radio station. And if you were a teenager in the 90s, you remember exactly where you were the first time you heard that voice. But here's what people didn't know. The industry was building a cage around him while calling it success. They wanted the next MJ, but they also wanted to control every part of who he was. And if you've ever been told you have to hide the most fundamental part of yourself to keep your dream alive, you know that's not a choice. That's torture. Campbell knew his sexuality by the time he was 19, 20, but this was the 90s. R&B wasn't ready, the fans weren't ready, and the label certainly wasn't ready. So he kept recording, kept performing, kept being what they needed him to be, until the weight of it broke something. Started pretending that I knew you. Then came 2003, an arrest in California. Headlines about soliciting an undercover officer, and suddenly the golden child became a cautionary tale. Warner Brothers shelved his third album. The machine moved on to the next young talent. And Tevin, he disappeared. Here's the thing about pressure that intense, that young. You don't just lose your career, you lose years figuring out who you actually are when nobody's watching. Campbell came out publicly in 2022. He's still here, still got that voice. But those prime years, the ones where legends get built, gone. Not because he wasn't good enough, because the industry wanted a product, not a person. And if you've ever had to choose between your truth and your dream, you know exactly how much that costs. And you knew me too. Number 9, Phyllis Hyman. And I'm so happy. Phyllis Hyman had a voice that could stop a room. Deep, jazzy, soul-drenched, the kind of instrument that happens once in a generation. When she sang You Know How to Love Me in 1979, it wasn't just a hit, it was a masterclass in what R&B could be when it met jazz and didn't compromise either one. The song hit number 12, R&B. Her 1977 cover of Betcha by Golly Wow had already announced her arrival. And by the early 80s, she'd earned a Tony nomination for Broadway's Sophisticated Ladies. This woman could do it all. But then came Clive Davis. He signed her to Arista and saw dollar signs. He wanted to mold her into something mainstream, something safer, something whiter. And Phyllis, she'd spent too many years perfecting her craft to let some executive whitewash her artistry, so they fought constantly. He wanted her to be the next big thing. She wanted to be herself. And if you've ever stood your ground on principle while watching opportunities disappear, you know how that story ends. Arista dropped her just like that. And the same year, she lost the role of Shug Avery in The Color Purple during a table read because her attitude turned Spielberg off. 2 massive blows in rapid succession. But here's where it gets complicated. Hyman was also battling bipolar disorder and depression, demons she couldn't outrun no matter how beautiful her voice sounded. By 1991, she released Prime of My Life on Philadelphia International, her biggest album. First #1 R&B hit with Don't Want to Change the World, gold certification by 1992. Everything was finally clicking. Then in 1993, her mother died, her grandmother died, her close friend died, all within 1 month. And Phyllis, who'd been holding on by her fingernails, started to slip. June 30th, 1995, hours before a headlining show at the Apollo with the Whispers, they found her in her apartment. Vodka, sleeping pills, a note that said, I'm tired. She was 45. Her final album, recorded before her death, was called I Refuse to Be Lonely. And if that doesn't break your heart, nothing will. She should have been a legend. She was that talented. But sometimes the world breaks the best ones first. But each time we're together. Number 8, Dru Hill. I just can't lose my 4 kids from Baltimore, Cisco, Jazz, Nokio, and Woody. When Tell Me dropped in 1996, they weren't just another R&B group. They were the blueprint for what male groups could be in the late 90s. Harmonies like Boyz II Men, swagger like Jodeci, and a raw honesty that made every woman feel like they'd written those songs about her specifically. In My Bed, Never Make a Promise, How Deep Is Your Love, Back to Back to Back. Their debut album went platinum. Then These Are the Times damn near became a wedding anthem. By 1998, Dru Hill was one of the biggest groups in R&B, sold-out tours, the world at their feet. But here's what happens when 4 strong personalities build something together and the spotlight only shines on one. Cisco was the breakout. The platinum hair, the voice, the charisma, and when Thong Song made him a solo megastar in 2000, it wasn't just his career that blew up. It was the group's foundation. Woody had already left once in 1999, citing conflicts between gospel and secular music after his mother's death, religious guilt eating him alive. He came back, then left again. Jazz struggled with ego and wanting the money without putting in the work, that hood mentality that thinks success should be easy once you get there. Nokio felt pushed out by their own manager, Kevin Peck, watching someone who didn't sing make decisions about what they created. And Cisco? He admitted later he made the mistake of hiring his Baltimore crew for important positions instead of qualified industry professionals, trying to bring everyone up with him, but not realizing that loyalty doesn't equal competence. What you're watching is a masterclass in how success destroys itself. They've reunited and broken up so many times that fans stopped believing the reunions meant anything. As of 2023, Sisqó's the only original member left standing in a lineup that keeps changing members like jerseys, drug use, weight issues, public brawls with their label, depression, ecstasy addiction, all of it spilling out in interviews and on reality shows. And if you grew up watching a friendship fall apart because money and ego got in the way, you know exactly how much it hurts. They could have been legends. They had the talent, the hits, the chemistry, but they couldn't survive each other. Number 7, Donell Jones. Chicago, mid-90s. Donell Jones is writing hits for other people. Think of You for Usher. Get It Together for 702. Working behind the scenes at LaFace Records, proving he understands what makes R&B work. And then, in 1996, he steps out front with My Heart. His debut album, it flopped. Lukewarm sales, but that's not the end of the story. That's just the setup. 3 years later, 1999, You Know What's Up drops with Lisa Left Eye Lopes. The song hits number 7 on the Hot 100. The album Where I Wanna Be goes platinum. And the title track, that vulnerable emotional plea, becomes one of the defining slow jams of the era. If you slow danced to it at a school dance or played it in your car after a breakup, you know. Donell Jones had arrived. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't dancing on stage like Usher. He was just a brother from the South Side making relationship music that felt real. Life Goes On in 2002 hit number 3 on the Billboard 200. Journey of a Gemini in 2006 hit number 15. Multiple platinum certifications. The man was consistent, but here's what happened. The industry shifted. By the mid-2000s, R&B was changing. Auto-tune, snap music, the ringtone era, and artists like Donell, who made actual grown and sexy relationship music, started getting left behind. Not because they weren't talented, because the formula changed. Jones took a hiatus, said he needed to reconnect with his roots and family. And when he came back, the lanes had closed. He kept releasing albums independently now, but the mainstream had moved on. And here's what gets me about this one. Donell Jones never stopped being great. His pen remained sharp. His voice matured beautifully. But somewhere between 2006 and 2010, an entire generation of male R&B singers who weren't named Usher, Chris Brown, or Trey Songz just disappeared from the conversation. The talent didn't leave, the market did. And if you've ever been really good at something, right, when the world stopped caring about that thing, you know how frustrating that is. Jones deserved legend status. He had the songs, he had the consistency. He just had the wrong timing. And that's a different kind of heartbreak. Number 6, James Ingram. Akron, Ohio. James Ingram is playing keyboard and singing backup, convinced he can't really sing, just doing demos for $50 a session at a studio on Sunset Boulevard. And then Quincy Jones hears his voice on a tape. One demo, that's all it took. Quincy puts him on the Dude album. 2 songs, Just Once hits number 17 on the Hot 100. 100 Ways hits number 14. Both go top 5 R&B. And Ingram wins a Grammy for 100 Ways for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance, all before he even has his own album. Baby Come to Me with Patty Austin hits number 1. The song becomes the theme for General Hospital, and suddenly Ingram's voice is in every living room in America. That same year, How Do You Keep the Music Playing with Austin becomes another standard. He co-writes PYT, Pretty Young Thing, for Michael Jackson. He's in We Are the World. He duets with Linda Ronstadt on Somewhere Out There. Number 2 on the Hot 100, Grammy for Song of the Year. 1990, I Don't Have the Heart becomes his only solo number 1. 14 Grammy nominations, 4 wins. So why isn't James Ingram a legend? Here's the thing. Just once, can we figure out what he was so good at collaborations, at being the perfect duet partner, at elevating everyone else's music, that he became known as Quincy's guy. The reliable voice, the consummate professional, but not the star.
What are we doing wrong?
His debut solo album, It's Your Night, in 1983, peaked at number 46. His biggest solo success came in 1990, almost a decade into his career. And by then, the narrative was set. James Ingram, the best backup singer who ever got a lead. And if you've ever been the person everyone depends on, but nobody remembers to celebrate, you know exactly how that feels. He kept working, kept writing, kept producing, but the legend status never came. Not because he didn't earn it, because the industry had already decided what role he played. He died in 2019 at 66. 2 Grammy wins, 14 nominations, inducted into the Soul Train Hall of Fame posthumously. And most people under 40 don't know his name. That's what happens when you're too valuable behind the scenes. They never let you step fully into the light. Number 5, Tweet.
And tantalizing, you would have thought I needed help from this feeling that
Oops, Oh My drops, and suddenly everyone knows Tweet's name. That voice, church-trained, sweet but with an edge, paired with Timbaland's production and Missy Elliott's feature.
felt just like mine. I got worried.
The song hits number 7 on the Hot 100, number 1 R&B. Her debut album, Southern Hummingbird, debuts at number 3 on the Billboard 200.
Oops, there goes my shirt up over my head. Oh my.
If you were anywhere near a radio in 2002, you heard that hook. Self-love anthem about taking care of yourself when nobody else will. And Tweet, born Charlene Keys, wasn't just another voice. She had range, she had depth. The whole album showed it, but here's what people didn't know.
In a trance from this body, so buttery brown.
Before that success, Tweet had tried to kill herself. Years of trying to make it, getting turned down, watching other people's careers take off while hers stayed grounded. The depression was suffocating. And when Oops finally hit, it must have felt like vindication, like all that pain had been worth it.
Couldn't catch my breath. Oops, there goes my shirt up over my.
Then came Breathe with Sean Paul in 2003, another hit. Everything was clicking. Tweet was positioned to be the next big thing in R&B, Missy and Timbaland's protege, part of that golden era of Virginia production. And then nothing.
Touch caressing my legs. Oh my.
Her second album, It's Me Again, dropped in 2005 and went nowhere. No hits, no momentum, and Tweet just stopped, disappeared for 10 years, a full decade. Here's what happened during that hiatus.
I looked over to the left.
The mental health struggles never left. The industry pressure, the expectation to duplicate that first success. And when you've already been at the bottom once, staring up at the top again feels impossible.
I looked over to the left. I was looking so good.
She came back in 2016 with Charlene, using her real name. More mature, more herself. But the landscape had changed. The window had closed.
Oops, there goes my skirt dropping to my feet.
And if you've ever watched your moment pass while you were trying to survive, you know that particular kind of grief.
Had to avoid, but this thing was happening. So I
Tweet had everything it took. The voice, the hits, the cosigns. But sometimes one album isn't enough, and sometimes the industry doesn't give you time to heal.
who could this be? Oops, there
Number 4, Carl Thomas, Chicago, late 90s. Carl Thomas is singing at open mic nights in New York, trying to get noticed, and then Puff Daddy walks into one of those clubs, hears him, signs him to Bad Boy Records on the spot. I Wish drops. The song hits number 1 R&B for 6 straight weeks. His debut album, Emotional, and yes, that title is perfect, gets certified platinum, over 1 million copies. Carl Thomas had arrived. That voice was undeniable, raw, vulnerable, the kind of singer who could make you feel every word. The album dropped the same day as Joe's My Name is Joe, both incredible, both platinum, but Carl's was different. More introspective, more wounded. If you ever played Summer Rain for somebody you loved and lost, you remember. Bad Boy was behind him, Puff was pushing him, and for a minute there, Carl Thomas was positioned to be one of the great R&B voices of the new millennium. Troy Taylor produced most of the album, pulling performances out of him that still hit today. 4 years later, 2004, Let's Talk About It, his second album. And the timing couldn't have been worse. Right before it dropped, his brother was killed in a drive-by shooting, just murder. And Carl, who just made an album about emotional honesty and vulnerability, was drowning in grief. He didn't tour, couldn't promote. The label tried, but his heart wasn't in it. And you can't sell an album when the artist can't even show up. The album stalled, and by the time Carl was ready to come back, the industry had moved on. He kept releasing music. So much better in 2007. More albums over the years, but the momentum never came back. That window from 2000 to 2004 was his shot, and tragedy stole half of it. Here's what gets me. Carl Thomas is still one of the most talented vocalists Bad Boy ever signed. His pen never stopped being sharp, but you only get so many chances. And when personal trauma intersects with industry timing, sometimes there's no coming back from it. He deserved legend status. He had the voice, he had the songs. He just didn't have the time. Number 3, Blu Cantrell. Hit 'em up style. Oops hits radio and it's instant. That Dallas Austin production. That hook about revenge shopping after getting cheated on. Blu Cantrell's voice. Powerful, sassy, unapologetic. The song peaks at number 2 on the Hot 100. Number 1 on mainstream top 40, breaks Elvis Presley's record for most added song to radio across all genres. Her debut album, So Blue, hits number 8 on the Billboard 200, goes gold. Grammy nominations, American Music Award nomination. She's everywhere. And if you were a woman who'd ever been wronged by a man with access to his bank account, that song was your anthem. Blu wasn't just another R&B singer. She had that gospel training mixed with raw attitude. When she sang about hitting him up for his money, you believed every word. She meant it. And 2001 was her year. Then 2003. Breathe with Sean Paul, another massive hit, top 5 worldwide. The album Bittersweet should have cemented her as a mainstay. She had the look the labels wanted, light-skinned, fierce, marketable. She had the voice, she had the hits. But here's where it gets complicated. The leaked photos, the industry politics, whispers that more successful artists felt threatened and got her quietly blacklisted. Whether that's true or industry myth, what's fact is this. After Bittersweet, Blu Cantrell disappeared from mainstream music. She shows up on Celebrity Circus, literally learning circus acts. For someone who topped charts 7 years earlier, that's a fall. Then came the 2014 incident that made headlines. Venice, California. 2 a.m. Blu starts ranting about someone trying to poison her with gas. Erratic behavior. Police called. The photos from that night show someone in the middle of a mental health crisis, not the confident woman who'd sung about revenge and empowerment. Mental health struggles, industry exile, a career that went from platinum to forgotten in less than a decade. And if you've ever watched someone's light get dimmed by forces they couldn't control, you know how devastating that trajectory is.
So I went to Neiman Marcus on a shopping spree, and on the way I
Blu Cantrell should have been a legend. She had 2 massive hits, 2 successful albums, but the industry chewed her up and spit her out before she even hit 30. And that's not just unfortunate, that's criminal.
I was coming down the hill just a dragging all his pictures and his clothes in the bagging.
Number 2, Groove Theory / Amolariu.
I had one question for you.
Tell Me drops and neo soul gets redefined. Amolariu's Velvet Alto over that sample from Mary Jane Girls, All Night Long. Trey Lorenz doing background vocals. Bryce Wilson's production. The song hits number 5 on the Hot 100, number 3 R&B, and if you slow danced to that song at a house party or played it in your car late at night, you remember exactly how it felt. Groove Theory's self-titled debut goes gold. Keep trying, Baby Lou. The album has no skips. And Amel, raised in Greenwich Village, daughter of a dance critic and one of the last poets, wasn't just another R&B singer. She brought jazz sensibility, lyrical depth, and a voice that could break your heart without trying. They're on soundtracks. Sunset Park in 1996, Love Jones in 1997. Groove Theory is positioned to be a mainstay. Neo Soul is taken over. Erykah Badu, Maxwell, D'Angelo, and Groove Theory is right there with them. But here's where it cracks. Behind the scenes, Amel and Bryce wanted different things. She wanted artistic freedom. He wanted to stay connected to the label's vision. They started making compromises. And if you've ever been in a creative partnership where one person starts feeling suffocated, you know how that ends. Amel leaves Groove Theory to go solo. Said she just couldn't keep compromising. I just couldn't go on forever. We wanted different things, and a combination of that and the label wanting different things from us just made me decide that it was time to move on. They bring in Makeda Davis to replace her, record a second album, The Answer, for Columbia Records. And right before it drops in 2001, the label drops them. The album gets shelved. Groove Theory disbands. Amma went independent, released Infinite Possibilities in 2000. Critical acclaim, but indie means no mainstream push. She kept releasing albums. Brave Bird, Morning, Lovely Standards, all through her own label Bliss Life Records with her husband. Beautiful music, but the windows had closed. Here's What Gets Me. Amalaria chose artistry over commerce. She walked away from a machine that wanted to package her, and she built a career on her own terms. That's admirable, that's brave, but it also means most people under 30 don't know her name. Groove Theory should have been legends. They had the sound, they had the moment, but when you choose integrity over industry demands, sometimes the reward is respect instead of fame. And Amalaria earned that respect. She just didn't get the legend status she deserved. Number 1, Deborah Cox. Toronto, early 90s. Deborah Cox is singing backup for Celine Dion when Clive Davis hears her voice, signs her to Arista Records on the spot. 1995, her self-titled debut drops. Sentimental and Who Do You Love both cracked the top 40. The girl can sing. That's established. But 1998 is when everything changes. Nobody's Supposed to Be Here drops in September. Montel Jordan and Anthony Shep Crawford wrote it. Patti LaBelle turned it down. And Deborah Cox took it and sang it to the heavens. The song hits number 1 R&B in November, and it stays there for 14 weeks, a record. 14 consecutive weeks at number 1 on the R&B chart. On the Hot 100, it hits number 2 and camps there for 8 straight weeks, one of the longest stays at number 2 in Billboard history. One Wish, the album, goes platinum. We Can't Be Friends becomes another hit. The Hex Hector remix of Nobody's Supposed to Be Here becomes a dance anthem, especially beloved in the LGBTQ community. Deborah Cox is everywhere. Grammy nomination, Soul Train Awards. She's the biggest Canadian R&B artist in the world. But here's the problem. She's on Arista, and Arista in 1998 has Whitney Houston. They have Monica, and when you're on a label with Whitney Houston, guess who gets the promotion budget? Deborah's videos got minimal budgets. Her album got minimal promo. The label wasn't prepared for Nobody's Supposed to Be Here to explode the way it did. They were playing catch up after it hit with no real strategy. And by the time they figured out what they had, Whitney's My Love Is Your Love album dropped a few months later. All hands on deck for Whitney. So what happened? Deborah's songs became bigger than she was. Everyone was singing Nobody's Supposed to Be Here, but the general public didn't know her name. The song was the hit, not the artist. She kept releasing music, moved to Broadway. Aida in 2004. Jekyll and Hyde, The Bodyguard. Multiple Juno Awards. A star on Canada's Walk of Fame. Success by any measure. But here's the truth. With a different label or different timing, Deborah Cox would be mentioned with Mariah and Whitney. She had the voice, she had the record-breaking hit. She had everything except a label willing to build her into a legend. Instead, she became one of the most underrated vocalists of the 90s. Ask music heads, and they'll tell you Deborah Cox is criminally overlooked. She deserves her flowers. She earned legendary status. But when you're competing for attention with Whitney Houston at the same label, even breaking records isn't enough. And that's not just unfortunate, that's the music industry in one sentence.